The note given to Charlie before his university speech had only 6 words. "Tonight, you will learn everything." The moment he read that paper, his facial expression changed. He had no idea that tonight he would experience one of the most dangerous moments of his life. Charlie Kirk was excited as usual when he received the speaking invitation from Northwestern University. In the past 6 months, he had visited 15 different universities and met with thousands of young people each time. But this time, something was different. Sarah Martinez, the student committee member who sent the invitation, had asked strange questions on the phone. Normally, organizers only talked about speaking time, number of participants, and technical details. But Sarah's questions were different. Who do you share your security details with? Who can access backstage before your speech? Have you ever received threats during your previous speeches? Is your personal assistant always with you? Charlie had thought these were normal protocol questions. After all, tension on university campuses had been rising lately. He couldn't see the big picture yet. After hanging up with his assistant Jake, he said, "This Sarah is very detail-oriented. She's quite sensitive about security matters." Jake had shrugged. "That's good. At least they're being professional." But what was really strange was that tremor in Sarah's voice, as if she was scared. That night, Charlie, lying in his hotel bed, thought again about Sarah's last sentence. "Mr. Kirk, please be very careful. On campus, unexpected things might happen." Her tone was disturbingly serious. On the day of the speech, when Charlie arrived at Northwestern University campus, the atmosphere was tense. There were the usual protesters, but this time their numbers were higher. Security guards were communicating more frequently than normal. When he went backstage, Charlie found a folded paper on his desk. It was white, ordinary A4 paper. Inside were only 6 words, written in capital letters. "Tonight you will learn everything." There was no signature underneath. Charlie's stomach turned. These kinds of notes usually didn't bring good things. He immediately ran to the security guard. The broad-shouldered, serious-faced man examined the note. "I didn't see it. Maybe one of the students left it. But don't worry, we're patrolling around." Charlie read the note again. The writing was handwritten, careful, and legible. This wasn't a random joke. Someone was trying to give him a message. Jake came over. "Is everything okay? You look pale." "Take a look at this note." Charlie handed over the paper. After reading it, Jake frowned. What could this mean? Maybe someone supporting you prepared a surprise? As Charlie put that paper in his pocket, he noticed that the crowd sounds from outside were different. This time the shouts were more organized, more coordinated. When he looked out from behind the curtain, Charlie was surprised. There were protesters as usual, but this time they looked organized. Same type of banners, same type of clothes, even the same type of shoes. It was like a professional operation. Normally there would be diversity among protesters, people of different ages, different groups, various banners. But today everyone looked to be between 20 and 25 years old and acted as if they had a central commander. Sarah quietly approached him. Her face was pale, her hands were trembling. "Charlie, I need to tell you something special." But not here. Too many ears. She looked around, eyeing the security guards, technical crew, and other student organizers with suspicion. "Where can we talk?" Charlie whispered. "There's an empty classroom in Corridor B, but we need to hurry." "Because..." Sarah stopped before completing her sentence. Someone was approaching. What Sarah was about to say would shake Charlie's entire worldview. But first, they needed to find a safe place. When they moved to the empty classroom, Sarah locked the door and closed the curtains. She began speaking breathlessly. "Charlie, at least half of these protesters aren't real students. They were hired by a political consulting firm, but their purpose isn't to sabotage your speech, to protect you." Charlie was confused. "What do you mean? Who do they need to protect me from?" Sarah took a deep breath. 3 days ago, an agent from the FBI contacted me. He said they received a serious threat about you. But what's really scary is this. The threat is coming from inside the campus. From inside the campus? Yes, someone very close to you. They're sharing your schedule, security details, even personal information. When the FBI learned this, they organized a fake protest to hide the real threat. The first thing that came to Charlie's mind was the sentence in the note. Tonight you will learn everything. What about that note? What note? Sarah was surprised. Charlie showed the paper. When Sarah read it, her face turned white. This isn't from me. It's not from the FBI either. Just then the door knocked, 3 times, short and sharp. Sarah froze. This wasn't the code they had established. The person entering would freeze Charlie. The door slowly opened. The person entering was Charlie's old university friend, Marcus Thompson, but there was a coldness in Marcus's eyes that Charlie had never seen. "Hello, Charlie. We haven't talked in a long time." There was no familiar warmth in his voice. Sarah stepped back. This wasn't part of the plan. She remembered that no one from the FBI had mentioned Marcus. Marcus moved to the center of the room and crossed his arms. "Sarah, could you leave us alone? Charlie and I need to have an old friendship chat." "No, she's staying," said Charlie. "What are you doing here, Marcus?" "Last time we talked, you were lobbying in Washington." Marcus smiled, but his smile was icy. "I still am. But my clients have changed." "What do you mean?" "I wrote that note, Charlie, because tonight you really will learn everything. Like how your friends sold you out, how Turning Point was infiltrated, and how many double agents there are among your closest co-workers. Had one of Charlie's trusted friends betrayed him? And how did Marcus know this information?" Marcus pulled out a phone from his pocket and handed it to Charlie. There were WhatsApp messages on the screen. Charlie was shocked when he saw his own name, photos, and private information written in the messages. The messages contained Charlie's private schedule, hotels he stayed at, which restaurants he went to, even his personal phone number. Worse yet, Jake's private comments about Charlie were also there. Sometimes he acts very naive and loose about security, and the person sharing this information was Jake Rodriguez, Charlie's closest co-worker, his trusted assistant. "Why?" Charlie whispered. His voice wouldn't come out. Marcus took the phone back. "Money is always a good reason, Charlie. Jake gets 3 times his monthly salary from this job. But the real reason, this organization didn't want someone as effective as you. You're very popular among young people, very influential." "Which organization?" "Don't worry about that. What's important is that you know how many people like this are around you." Sarah's breath was getting short. "Who are you?" "You're not from the FBI." Marcus looked at Sarah. "Ah, little Sarah. Did you really think you talked to an FBI agent? That man is also one of ours." But Marcus wasn't finished talking yet. The real big secret hadn't been revealed yet. Marcus approached the window and looked outside. "Charlie, you're just a pawn. The real game is much bigger. This university invitation, fake protesters, the FBI story, even me being here. It's all part of a big theater." Charlie's head was pounding. "So which side are you on?" "Why are you warning me?" Marcus smiled. "Good question. Maybe my conscience is bothering me. Maybe I'm tired of this game. Or maybe I just want you to see the truth." "What truth?" "Where Turning Point USA's real funding comes from. What purposes your speeches are used for. And of course, how many informants there are among your closest employees." Charlie's world was collapsing. Who else besides Jake? Sarah Jenkins, your media coordinator. Tom Bradley, your security director. And of course, Amy Chen, your PR manager. They're all very professional. They all write very nice reports. Charlie leaned against the wall. These people were like family to him. "Tonight you'll go out and give your speech, Charlie. But now you know who's in front of you and who's behind you. My question is this. Will you go out as the same Charlie Kirk despite this, or as the real Charlie Kirk?" Just then, gunshots came from outside. As Sarah screamed, Charlie realized that the real danger was just beginning. But what were these sounds? The gunshots seemed to be getting closer. Sarah hid behind the door. Charlie could hear glass-breaking sounds. But Marcus was standing calmly. "Relax," said Marcus. This was also part of the theater. They realized the sounds were actually fireworks. Marcus laughed. I wanted you to really feel like you were in danger, Charlie. Because without feeling like you're in danger, you can't see who you really are. But Charlie couldn't trust anyone anymore. He had solved the real meaning of that note. Tonight you will learn everything. This wasn't just a threat, it was an opportunity given to him. Who was friend, who was enemy, he now knew them all. But more importantly, he had found the opportunity to learn who he himself was. Marcus, why did you tell me the truth? Because, Charlie, you can really make a difference, but not by blindly trusting the system. You can play this game, but by setting the rules yourself. When Charlie went out for his speech, everything had changed. He now knew the protesters, fake supporters, even the traitors in his own team. Jake was standing at the side of the stage, smiling as always, but now Charlie knew what was behind that smile. He went to the microphone and put aside the speech text he had prepared beforehand. Tonight, he would give a different speech. When he said his first sentence, he did something that surprised everyone. Tonight, I will talk to you not only about politics, but also about trust, about how even our closest friends can deceive us. The hall fell silent. This wasn't the speech they expected. There are forces around us trying to manipulate us, but the real power is in recognizing these and making our own decisions. Tonight, I learned something too. And what he said that night would affect not only those in that hall, but millions. Because Charlie Kirk was now a different person. Jake was texting somewhere with his phone. Amy Chen was taking notes, but Charlie didn't care anymore. Tonight, he had found his real voice. After the speech ended, when Charlie returned backstage, Marcus was still there. How did you feel? Different, more free. Good. Because from tomorrow, everything will change. Jake won't call you. Amy won't write her reports, but you'll be stronger. Charlie took the note out of his pocket and read it again. Tonight you will learn everything. Marcus, what will you do now? Me? I'm going to wake up other Charlie Kirks, because this game doesn't end with just you. Charlie's phone in his pocket vibrated. A message had arrived, not from Jake, from an unknown number. Congratulations, Charlie. You're starting to see the real game, but you're still only at level 1. Let's meet tomorrow morning at 9 at Starbucks. D, who is D? Charlie asked. Marcus smiled when he saw the phone. So she's making her move too. D, Danielle Morgan, one of Turning Point's founding partners, but you've never seen her. What do you mean I've never seen her? I'm the founder. You just became the face, Charlie. Who did you think was making the real decisions? Marcus showed Charlie Danielle's photo on his phone. She was a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes, looking like a businesswoman. Charlie had never seen this woman in his life. Danielle comes from Wall Street. She provides $12 million in funding to your organization annually. Of course, in return, she decides which universities you'll go to, what you'll say, even which politicians you'll meet. Charlie's world shook again. This is impossible. I make my own decisions. Really? Why didn't you suddenly go to that conference in California last month? You said illness, but Charlie remembered. That day Jake had told him an urgent situation came up, and indeed there was a big protest at UCLA that day. Was that protest fake? Not fake, but it was provoked. They didn't want you there because the speech you would give there didn't fit Danielle's plans. Charlie was now understanding that nothing was a coincidence, but bigger surprises were waiting for him. Marcus continued, looking out the window. Charlie, it wasn't a coincidence that you went on stage tonight and told the truth. This was also part of the plan. What do you mean? Danielle is testing you, to see what you'll do when you learn the truth. If you rebel against the system, they'll completely eliminate you. If you continue the game, they'll promote you to higher levels. Charlie was confused. So what are you in this business? I was once like you. I went through a similar test in 2018, but I chose a different path. Marcus opened the collar of his shirt. There was a small tattoo on his neck. Libertas, the Latin word meaning freedom. We're a small group, Charlie. People trying to change the system from within, and tonight you got the chance to join this group. When Charlie's phone rang again, this time a message came from Amy Chen. Charlie, you need to have an urgent meeting with Jake. Be at the office at 6 tomorrow. You may need to explain about today's speech. Here it starts, said Marcus. Now it's time to make a choice. Either you'll continue their game or you'll become the real Charlie Kirk. The decision Charlie would make would affect not only his own future, but also the future of millions of young Americans. The door knocked. This time at the door was the real Sarah Martinez, the student from Northwestern. But her face was confused. Mr. Kirk, I was looking for you. Who was the girl who talked to you backstage tonight? Because I never sent anyone like that. Charlie's blood ran cold. If this was the real Sarah, then who was the woman who had been talking to him all evening? Marcus stepped forward. Describe the woman you talked to, Charlie. Brown hair, about 5 feet 6 inches, nervous, said she was from the student committee. The real Sarah shook her head. That's definitely not me or anyone from our committee. We're only 3 people, and I know them all personally. Just then, Charlie's phone buzzed with another message, this time from an unknown number with a simple photo attachment. Charlie opened the photo message. It was a surveillance image showing him, Marcus, and the fake Sarah entering the classroom earlier. But what made his stomach drop was the timestamp and camera angle. This was taken from inside the building's security system. Someone's been watching us this whole time, Charlie whispered. Marcus examined the photo. This isn't good. If they have access to campus security, then... Another message arrived. The woman you knew as Sarah works for a private intelligence firm called Nexus Solutions. They specialize in political manipulation and information gathering. Check your email in 5 minutes. D. The real Sarah looked terrified. What's happening? Should I call campus security? No, Marcus said quickly. Campus security might be compromised too. Charlie's mind was racing. Marcus, how deep does this go? How many people are involved? Charlie, what I'm about to tell you will sound like a conspiracy theory, but Marcus paused, looking around the room nervously. There's a network of about 12 major political influencers in America who are all being managed this way. You're not the only one. Who else? I can't say names, but think about the most prominent young conservative voices in the past 5 years. The ones who seemed to come out of nowhere and suddenly had massive platforms. Charlie was about to learn that his entire career might have been orchestrated from the beginning. Charlie's phone chimed with an email notification. The sender was listed as d.morgan@nexus-solutions.com with the subject line, "Welcome to reality." The email contained a detailed dossier with Charlie's photo at the top, followed by what looked like a performance review. Subject: Charles Kirk, Project Patriot Voice. Status: Phase 3. Complete, moving to Phase 4. Effectiveness rating: 8.7 out of 10. Audience reach: 2.3 million active followers. Influence metrics: exceeding targets by 23%. Key performance indicators: university campus penetration, successful, media controversy generation, optimal levels, conservative youth mobilization, above expectations, corporate sponsor satisfaction, high recommended actions, increase international speaking opportunities, expand digital platform presence, begin preparation for political candidacy consideration. Note, subject has shown signs of independent thinking. Recommend increased monitoring and potential intervention if necessary. Charlie's hands were shaking as he read. This can't be real. Marcus looked over his shoulder. Keep reading. There's more. The email continued with a list of other active projects. Project Patriot Voice, Kirk. Active Project Traditional Values, Subject B. Active Project Campus Reform, Subject C. Active Project Youth Liberty, Subject D. Terminated, Subject became non-compliant. Project Conservative Future, Subject E. Pending launch. What happened to Subject D? Charlie asked. Marcus's face darkened. Remember David Walsh? The young conservative speaker who was huge about 2 years ago, then suddenly disappeared after that scandal? Charlie remembered. David had been accused of financial impropriety and his career ended overnight. Are you saying the scandal was manufactured? He started asking too many questions just like you're doing now. The real Sarah had been listening in growing horror. This is insane. Are you telling me that some shadow organization has been manipulating conservative politics? Not just conservative, Marcus replied. They do this across the political spectrum. It's about control, not ideology. Charlie's phone buzzed again. This time it was a call from an unknown number. Against Marcus's warnings, he answered. Hello, Charlie. The voice was female, confident, with a slight East Coast accent. This is Danielle Morgan. I think it's time we met properly. I'm not meeting with anyone until I get answers. Danielle laughed. Oh, Charlie. You're going to get answers whether you want them or not. You see, you've already passed the test. What test? Tonight was never about exposing our operation to you. Tonight was about seeing how you'd react when you thought you'd discovered it. And I must say, your performance was excellent. Charlie felt like the floor was falling out from under him. You mean, Marcus has been working for us the entire time. The fake Sarah was one of our assets. Even this conversation is being recorded for our files. You see, Charlie, there is no escape from the system because you are the system. But just as Charlie thought he'd been completely defeated, Marcus did something that changed everything. Marcus suddenly grabbed the phone from Charlie's hand and spoke into it. Danielle, this is Agent Thompson. The operation is blown. Charlie knows everything. There was silence on the other end. Then, Marcus, what are you doing? My job. Charlie, everything I told you tonight was true, but I didn't tell you that I'm not working alone. Marcus pulled out a small device from his pocket, a recording device that had been running the entire time. I'm actually Agent Marcus Thompson, FBI Domestic Terrorism Division. We've been investigating Nexus Solutions for 18 months, and you, Charlie, just helped us get the evidence we needed. Charlie Kirk never forgot the biggest lesson he learned that night. Sometimes your biggest enemies come in the guise of your closest friends, but more importantly, real power lies in being able to chart your own course after realizing this. What about you? Are you sure you really know the people around you? And more importantly, can you hear your own voice? And one of the names he saw in those WhatsApp messages would shock him very much, because that name was someone he never expected.